My hot pickled lily root has just fallen onto the floor. I've got to restart it and then prepare new leaves of lily root and put them in another hot pickle. This has cost me quite a few minutes. I'm really, really under the pump here. I've got to make sure I move quickly.
How good is Japan? 45 minutes to go. Come on, guys.
Come on, let's move it. So, Eloise.
Hi.
What's happening? What are you cooking?
I am going to attempt to do a bit of a mochi.
Mochi is a Japanese sweet. It's a glutinous rice ball with a sweet filling.
Okay. Have you done it before?
I've made mochi once before and it was quite a long time ago, not very recently.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it's going to work.
God, you're really putting yourself out there, aren't you? If you said to me, yeah, I've made it like 4 or 5 times and I've got to grips with it, I'd go, what a great idea.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Fingers crossed. Let's hope it works.
I need to start by making the dough for the outside of the mochi. It's usually made with glutinous rice flour, but I don't have that. I've got rice, so I'm going to grind that down to a flour and hope it works anyway.
Sorry.
Careful, Eliza.
Sorry. No, it's all right.
Well done, Sarah.
Sorry, everyone. I chose the Wagyu beef sirloin steak, so I'm definitely using it today. It looks amazing. It's got so much marbling in it. I'm cooking shabu shabu with Wagyu beef and scallops. Shabu shabu is a Japanese dish. It's a hot soup where you wave really thinly sliced pieces of meat through it to cook it. I'm going to freeze the scallops and the Wagyu beef because I'm going to use a meat slicer to make really thin slices. I'd really like to add some texture to my dish, so I'm adding some potato chips out of the honey yam.
Ben, how good are those scallops are?
Amazing.
Hey, you chose the sake.
I did choose a sake.
What are you doing with it?
I'm going to be poaching the scallops in it today.
Okay.
Water bath. So I just want that really beautiful flavour of the sake to come through with the scallops. And then I'm going to do some honey yams. I've just thrown them in some foil, and I'm just going to be doing some pickles as well.
It'd be interesting to see whether or not you get any return on poaching the scallops in the sake. So you've got to be careful.
Yeah.
I don't want to confuse you. No. So just think.
The judges are worried about poaching the scallops in the sake, so I need to think about what I'm going to do.
I'm cooking a seared Wagyu beef with some honey yam lily root that will be braised in the broth.
You okay up here?
Yeah, all good. So I got a broth kind of going. It's going to be sort of like a thick broth.
How are you going to thicken that?
So I've used some of this sesame dressing. It actually goes really well.
Well, that's what you bought.
Yeah.
So I've got some,
it certainly packs a punch when you taste it. It's really delicious. I think the power of the broth's going to be important.
Good luck.
I'm tasting this broth and it's quite salty at this stage. I'm looking at these dried sweet soybeans. I'm going to add some of them to my broth. It could completely change the flavour, so I've got to be really careful and I just leave it to let it infuse.
The next thing I need to do for this mochi is get onto the filling. So I'm going to cut black soybeans and I'm thinking I might use some of that honey yam together with the soybeans in the middle. I've ground the rice. Now I need to make the dough and hope it turns out perfectly.
I really want to get that advantage in the invention test, so I've got to put all the cards on the table.
Listen up, everybody. 20 minutes to go.
I've spent so much time cleaning up my scallops. I'm not sure if I actually want to put the sake on this. They look so good as is, so I think I might scrap that. I've got to find another way to use the sake, so I think I might try infusing it in maybe a bit of a butter sauce and having the flavour of that beautiful sake come through that way. I need to take a decent slab of butter. I add a little bit of sake and a little bit of dashi stock. I just hope it's enough sake flavour.
My dish is quite simple, so it's really important that I get this soup perfect. To make the soup, I just combine some water with bonito flakes, the offcuts from the beef, and also the skirt from the scallops. And then I mix in some of the beautiful miso paste that Eliza chose.
How's your shabby going?
Good.
Let's hope it's not too shabby, huh?
Hopefully not.
You're going to serve hot bowl of broth.
Yeah.
Drop everything in. It's going to cook in the broth.
Yeah.
You've taken a slice of the Wagyu and you put it in there.
I will.
To see how long the Wagyu cooks for. Because, you know, if we end up with grey, like, flibby, flabby, shabby meat. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Matt.
The broth has now been cooking for about 45 minutes. I've put a lot of effort into it. I'm just hoping that it tastes beautiful. And I taste it.
I love the flavors.
It tastes beautiful. It's spot on.
I think I'm in my element.
It's exactly what I wanted, and I definitely want to get that advantage. The beef has been marinating in some hacho miso, sake, some mirin, some sugar, and some black pepper.
It's so important that this beef is cooked perfectly. It's the centerpiece of the whole dish, along with the broth. So, yeah, I got to make sure that it's spot on.
I've only got about 20 minutes to go, and I've made the filling for my mochi. I'm really happy with the flavour, but the outside, usually it's made with glutinous rice flour, but I didn't have that today, so I ground the rice down myself. But my mochi dough just isn't working.
Oh, that's your mochi?
Yeah. So that
no,
come to the right consistency.
Yeah.
The mixture is very gluggy, and I don't think I'm going to be able to make a proper dough out of it.
Nice to see you stirring it, but I suggest that vertical cutlery is never a good thing.
No.
All I really care about is the end result.
Yeah.
And I care about you getting that advantage.
Absolutely.
You want that pin.
I definitely want that pin.
Yeah.
I need to think of something to save this dish. My mochi dough just isn't working. It's just a bit too thick, too gluggy, and I have a feeling that I don't have a dish.
Okay.
I need to think of something to save this dish. I think of the honey yams I have roasting in the oven, and I figure, why don't I make a dough out of them instead of the rice flour? This is not a dish I've seen before. I don't know if it's going to work, but I need to try something.
Well, the good news is we're in Tokyo and you're cooking. The bad news is you've only got 10 minutes to go. Come on.
Come on, hustle. Some of Japan's best ingredients and one serious advantage up for grabs. Remember, we're only tasting 3 of the most impressive-looking dishes. First dish we'd love to taste belongs to Carly. Very pretty.
Thank you.
So what are you calling the dish?
So it's a shabu shabu, but I've got the broth on the side, so you'll pour that into the bowl. There you go.
Look, and you can see the meat changing colour.
Look at that.
Look at that. Yeah, that's it. Great. What I love about this dish is your detail in terms of things like cutting the Wagyu really thin so it cooks properly, and the broth is earthy and meaty. That would be an absolute bestseller on any menu. Love it.
Thank you.
It's so refined, a lot of respect to that incredible produce that you guys, you know, hand-picked. Awesome cooking, Carly, well done.
Thank you very much.
The reason we picked that is it looks so pretty in the bowl, and then you've backed it up with flavour all the way. I just think it's an absolutely super dish.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Carly.
Thanks so much, guys. To hear the judges' great comments makes me feel really good. This is the first cook in Japan, and I'm hoping that I've done enough to get that advantage. Thank you.
The next dish you want to taste? Eloise.
I am just hoping that they enjoy this dish. I I know that there are some really weird and unusual flavours going on together, but I think they work, so I hope that they agree.
Eloise, your mochi was a mess. What have you brought us instead?
Black soybean-filled honey yam dumpling with a caramel sauce.
Better than mochi, do you think?
I think this is better, so I'm happy with that.
That looks fantastic, doesn't it?
Wow. Geez, have you guys brought your A game to Japan? Man, that is rock and roll, Eloise. It's mind-boggling, good. There's pickle there to refresh. I've never eaten anything like it, and I love it.
I love that texture. I love those honey yams. They're so sweet, so delicious. It just seems like a well-practiced recipe. It is a winner, absolute winner.
Thanks, Gary.
You travelled to Tokyo to line up for 2.5 hours to have your serve of those. And then, when you'd done that, you'd go back to the back of the line, and in 2.5 hours, you'd be hungry again, and you'd wait again. The last dish we want to taste. Oh, so many great contenders.
Diana.
Taking my dish up to the judges, I'm really excited. You know, I tasted that broth and I tasted it with the Wagyu, and I just hope the dish works together. Okay.
So, Diana, what's the dish?
So it's a marinated seared Wagyu with a broth that I used some of the sesame dressing, which I bought this morning, and some honey yam and lily root.
Wow. It's not bad, is it? Tell you what, that sesame broth is huge. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's outstanding.
Because I think you look at it and think it's going to be really salty.
Yeah.
But the sweetness, the kind of almost yummy sweetness. But I think the thing that's most impressive about this dish, when you wander the streets of Tokyo and you find yourself in a little restaurant, there's 3-4 generation commitment to craft to make something like the perfect stock for your ramen. And you've managed to achieve in a very short period of time a stock that's as delicious. Well done, Diana.
Thank you. Thanks so much.
Well done.
The feedback from the judges is absolutely mind-blowing. It's incredible.
I loved it. Well done.
We now have to decide which of your dishes wins you that massive advantage.
Every dish that she's putting up at the moment is absolutely on point. It's really good.
Imagine we're all sitting around right now and we're going to tell people to go to one place to have one thing in Tokyo. Which of those 3 dishes would you tell them?
Ah, well, then the choice is obvious, isn't it?
I think it is. Oh, I love those discussions because there is no bad dish there. You know, if we were sitting down for a little kaiseki degustation, we had those 3 dishes, we'd be going, oh, this is a super place, let's come back. One dish is just suck their nose fractionally ahead. And I think because of the care, the precision, and above all, the downright tastiness of that broth, Diana, the dish is yours. Congratulations, you win.
Well done, Diana.